Khorasan, also written as Khorasan, is a historical region lying in the northeast of Persia. In pre-Islamic and early Islamic times, the term Khorasan frequently had a much wider denotation, covering also parts of Central Asia and Afghanistan. Early Islamic usage often regarded everywhere east of Western Persia, so-called Jabal, or what was subsequently termed Iraq Ajami, as being included in a vast and ill-defined region of Khorasan, which might even extend to the Indus Valley and Sindh. Khorasan in its proper sense comprised principally the cities of Balkh and Herat, Mashhad and Nishapur, Merv and Nisa, and Bukhara and Samarkand. Some believe that at certain times Khorasan covered a wider area, which included parts of Transoxiana, Sogdiana, Sistan, and extended to the boundaries of the Indian subcontinent. When the Arabs first arrived to the southern Hindu Kush to defeat the Zimbils, they recognized it as Al-Hind, owing to the prevalence of Buddhists and Hindus due to its cultural connection with Greater India. Sources from the 14th to the 16th century report that areas in the south of the Hindu Kush mountain range formed a frontier between Khorasan and Hindustan. In the Islamic period, Persian Iraq and Khorasan were the two important territories. The boundary between these two was the region surrounding the cities of Gurgan and Damgan. In particular, the Ghaznavids, Seljuks, and Timurids divided their empires into Iraqi and Khorasani regions. The adjective greater is added these days to distinguish the historical region from the Khorasan province of Iran, which roughly encompassed the western half of the historical Greater Khorasan. The name Khorasan is derived from Middle Persian Khorasan, hence meaning land where the sun rises, the same etymology also having been suggested for Khwarezm. The Persian word Kavai-Zaman, meaning the eastern land, has also been used as an equivalent term. Geographical distribution, first established as a political entity by the Sassanids in the 3rd century AD. The borders of the region have varied considerably during its 1600-year history. Initially, the Khorasan province of Sassanid Empire included the cities of Nishapur, Herat, Merv, Faryab, Talakan, Balkh, Bukhara, Bajis, Abiwud, Gargistan, Tus or Susia, Sarix and Gurgan. It acquired its greatest extent under the Caliphs, for whom Khorasan was the name of one of the three political zones under their dominion. Under the Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates, Khorasan was divided into 4 major sections or quarters, each section based on a single major city: Nishapur, Merv, Herat and Balkh. In the Middle Ages, the term was loosely applied in Persia to all its territories that lay east and northeast of Dashti Kava, and therefore were subjected to changes. The size of empire changed. According to Ghulam Muhammad Gobar, Afghanistan's current Persian-speaking territories formed the major portion of Khorasan, as 2 of the 4 main capitals of Khorasan are now located in Afghanistan. Gobar uses the terms proper Khorasan and improper Khorasan in his book to distinguish between the usage of Khorasan in its strict sense and its usage in a loose sense. According to him, proper Khorasan contained regions lying between Balkh in the east, Merv in the north, Sistan in the south, Nishapur in the west and Herat, known as the Pearl of Khorasan, in the center. Improper Khorasan's boundaries extended to as far as Hazarajat and Kabul in the east, Sistan and Balochistan in the south, Transoxiana and Khwarezm in the north, and Damgan and Gorgan in the west. It is mentioned in the memoirs of Babur that the people of Hindustan call every country beyond their own Khorasan, in the same manner as the Arabs term all except Arabia Ajam. On the road between Hindustan and Khorasan, there are 2 great marts, the one Kabul, the other Kandahar. Caravans from Fergana, Turkestan, Samarkand, Balkh, Bukhara, Hisar, and Badakhshan all resort to Kabul, while those from Khorasan repair to Kandahar. This country lies between Hindustan and Khorasan. History. History of Iran. History of Afghanistan. Before the region fell to Alexander the Great in 330 BC, it was part of the Persian Achaemenid Empire, and prior to that it was occupied by the Medes. Following Alexander's brief occupation, the successor state of the Seleucid Empire controlled the area until 305 BC, when they gave south of the Hindu Kush to the Indian Maurya Empire as part of an alliance treaty. Alexander took these away from the Aryans and established settlements of his own, but Seleucus Nicator gave them to Sandrocotis, upon terms of intermarriage and of receiving in exchange 500 elephants. Strabo. 64 BC to 24 AD. The land that became known as Khorasan in geography of Eratosthenes was recognized as Ariana by Greeks at that time, which made up Greater Iran, or the land where Zoroastrianism was the dominant religion. The southeastern region of Khorasan fell to the Kushan Empire in the 1st century AD. The Kushan rulers built a capital in modern-day Afghanistan at Bagram and are believed to have built the famous Buddhas of Bamiyan. Numerous Buddhist temples and buried cities have been found in Afghanistan. However, the region of Khorasan remained predominantly Zoroastrian, but there were also Manichaeists, sun worshippers, Christians, pagans, shamanists, Buddhists, Jews and others. One of the three great fire temples of the Sassanids, Azar-Burzin-Mehr, is situated near Sabzeva in Iran. The boundary of the region began changing until the Kushans and Sassanids merged to form the Kushano-Sasanian civilization. During the Sassanid era, Persia was divided into four regions: Kavavaran in the west, Bakhtar in the north, Iraqosia in the south and Khorasan in the east. Next to Sind or Hind, Khorasan in the east saw some conflict with the Hethalites, who became the new rulers in the area, but the borders remained stable. Being the eastern parts of the Sassanids and further away from Arabia, Khorasan region was conquered after the remaining Persia. The last Sassanid king of Persia, Yazd III, moved the throne to Khorasan following the Arab invasion in the western parts of the empire. After the assassination of the king, Khorasan was conquered by Arab Muslims in 647 AD. Like other provinces of Persia, it became one of the provinces of Umayyad dynasty. The first movement against the Arab invasions was led by Abu Muslim Khorasani between 747 and 750. He helped the Abbasids come to power but was later killed by Al-Mansur, an Abbasid caliph. The first independent kingdom from Arab rule was established in Khorasan by Tahir Foshanji in 821, but it seems that it was more a matter of political and territorial gain. Tahir had helped the caliph subdue other nationalistic movements in other parts of Persia, such as Maziya's movement in Tabaristan. Other major independent dynasties who ruled over Khorasan were the Saffarids from Zaranj, Samanids from Bukhara, Ghaznavids from Ghazni, Seljuks, Khwarezmids, Ghurids, and Timurids. It should be noted that some of these dynasties were not Persian by ethnicity. The periods of Turkic Ghaznavids and Turco-Mongol Timurids are considered as some of the most brilliant eras of Khorasan's history. During these periods, there was a great cultural awakening. Many famous poets, scientists and scholars lived in this area. Numerous valuable works in Persian literature were written. From the 16th century to the early 18th century, Khorasan was ruled by the Iranian Shia Safavid dynasty, while the region to the east by the Sunni Khanate of Bukhara and the southeast by the Sunni Maf'ul Empire. Khorasan was conquered in 1722 by the Ghizi Pashtuns from Kandahar and became part of the Hotaki dynasty formed 1722 to 1729. Nader Shah recaptured Khorasan in 1729 and chose Mashhad as the capital of Persia. Following his assassination in 1747, the eastern parts of Khorasan, including Herat, was annexed with the Durrani Empire. Mashhad area was under control by Nader Shah's grandson Shahrukh Afshar until it was captured by Qajar dynasty in 1796. In addition to Herat, In Treaty of Paris, which was signed between Iran and British Empire, as an end to Anglo-Persian War, Iranian troops agreed to withdraw from Herat in 1857. The northern part of Khorasan, including Merv and Ashgabat, was transferred from Iran to Russian control under Treaty of Akhal in 1881. Cultural importance. Khorasan has had a great cultural importance among other regions in Greater Iran. The literary New Persian language developed in Khorasan and Transoxiana and gradually supplanted the Parthian language. The New Persian literature arose and flourished in Khorasan and Transoxiana, where the early Iranian dynasties such as Tahirids, Samanids and Ghaznavids were based. The early Persian poets such as Rudaki, Shahid Borki, Abu al-Abbas Marwazi, Abu Hafiz Sufdi, and others were from Khorasan. Moreover, Ferdowsi and Rumi were also from Khorasan. Until the devastating Mongol invasion of the 13th century, Khorasan remained the cultural capital of Persia. It has produced scientists such as Avicenna, Al-Farabi, Al-Biruni, Omar Khayyam, Al-Khwarizmi, Abu Mazhar al-Borki, Al-Fraganis, Abu Wafa, Nazir al-Din al-Tusi, Sharaf al-Din al-Usi, and many others who are widely well known for their significant contributions in various domains such as mathematics, astronomy, medicine, physics, geography, and geology. In Islamic theology, jurisprudence and philosophy, and in hadith collection, many of the greatest Islamic scholars came from Khorasan, namely Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Abu Hanifa, Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Abu Dawud, Al-Tirmidhi, Al-Nasawi, Al-Ghazali, Al-Juwayna, Abu Mansur Maturidi, Fakhruddin al-Razi, and others. Sheikh Tusi, a Shia scholar, and al-Zamakhshari, the famous Mutazilite scholar, also lived in Khorasan. Demographics. The Parthian people appear to have been the first ethnic group to populate the region, but they began mixing with an increasing number of foreign invaders, and as a result their proportionate number was reduced. Significant immigrants such as Arabs from the west since the 7th century and Turkic peoples after the Turkic migration from the north in the Middle Ages settled in the region. After Genghis Khan conquered Persia in the 13th century, many Mongols settled in Khorasan after depopulating its cities.